But where we want to start is with this gentleman. Introducing Dudley Watts. He's County Manager for Forsyth County, and thanks for having us today.
Thank you, Jim. Glad to be here.
You know, I imagine that managing a county this size has been quite a challenge, well, on a day-to-day basis, but then with COVID, it had to be just really a challenge. How has the county done in its response overall?
Jim, it's been a roller coaster ride. I think back to March now, 18 months ago or so, when the hospitals called and wanted us to essentially shut down county operations and take an emergency action, and with what they saw coming and the impact on the hospital system, and through that we geared up for the worst of it. And went through kind of the first generation of that. It required a public health response that we have not seen. We had planned for. We had done a flu pandemic that we used as a guideline, but
Sure.
but we put that in place all the time, trying to continue operations across county government. And I am very proud of the staff and the workers here that we kept county operations open every single day through that. We had to modify operations a bit, but the dedication that you saw from employees and from leadership across county departments was amazing. So
It really was. And now there were some American Recovery Plan funds. What was the status of that?
So the first set of that was what was called Coronavirus Relief Funds, or CRF funds. That helped us in the fall. And then there was a round 2 of that, and then there was now we're dealing with some ARPA funds, American Recovery Plan Act funds, that have a much longer spend requirement with them, and so we'll be dealing with that money through the end of December 24, and the board's really in the first part of the effort with that.
But very quickly, financially, is the county healthy through all this?
So that has been probably the most fascinating part of this, is that we took some measures that were budget measures early on, because the state was telling us we were going to have about a 40% sales tax revenue shortfall. We planned for that. That never happened, and so the last fall the board did reappropriated some dollars that came in. Those went to the schools. They went kind of across county departments. And then we went into this year's budget. And so at the same time you have the coronavirus, the virus response, the impact on the economy, locally our economy has been pretty good through it. And it actually has placed demands on services that we thought, in an economic slowdown, the demand's not there.
But
it's been the exact opposite.
But it is, and we'll get into that later on. Before we lose time on this, let's get away from COVID for just a second. There are a lot of other issues that impact the county. Give me an example.
If you look at our emergency response, we've been dealing with COVID, but our overdoses in those departments have stayed at levels that really shouldn't be. Gun violence obviously has been an issue. The efforts that are required from planning, because we've got building starts. You've got lots of planning activity, you've got lots of building inspection activity. You're going to hear from some.
And it's sort of become accelerated, hasn't it?
It has. It has.
What about the final thing? What about the Beltway Project? Give me an update on that.
Well, I think people in our community are seeing the construction that's going on, but they're also seeing some blighted areas that are getting affected because housing that was impacted by the MAP Act, it was taken down for the Beltway Project, and so. Connectivity across the county is going to be impacted. I looked yesterday, August of 23 is when that will open. That will substantially change some traffic patterns for the better, I think, in the community, and it's going to create some economic opportunities.
Well, I want to just throw this out throughout the program as we can, just to mention the general website, forsythcountync.gov, you can go to for general information. I'll try to remember to remind everybody about that as we go through forsythcountync.gov. Dudley, I know you have a lot to do. Thanks for stopping by and doing this.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jim.
All right. We'll be right back.